queen. This is dedicated to all my beautiful queens, all my beautiful ladies out there. She's a queen. Go queen. You got it, girl. She's a queen. You better represent. Go queen. Go queen. Go. She's a queen about her business. Queen. Working hard on a mission. Yeah. Head high, purpose driven. Purpose driven. Crown will never tilt it. Queen. Go queen. Go queen. Go queen. Go. Represent. You're a queen. You're a queen. Oh.
So thank you guys for joining another episode of the Q Chat. I'm finally back after Hurricane Ida, and I have a very special guest with me today. Her name is Miss Ayana Bean. Ayana was featured in BET's American Gangster Trap Queen. She's also a music entrepreneur, a philanthropist, a mother, and she has a new book out entitled A Year and a Day. So I want to go ahead and chat with Ayana about her experiences. She has a very inspirational story. And one quote that I grabbed off her website says, "I want to teach other women and girls that life is full of challenges and making the right choices will help us overcome them." So we're going to have a great conversation. Yes. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Thank you. And how are you?
I'm doing good. And I'm so happy to have you on the program. I know we've been trying to get together.
Well, you had that weather going on out there.
Right.
Definitely. So I'm glad that you're safe and everything is good.
Thank you. So I just want to dive in. So I guess I'll let you introduce yourself first. Okay. I definitely want to talk about your book and your experiences. You have such a colorful story. So how would you like to introduce yourself to the audience first before we dive in?
Okay, well, my name is Ayana Bean. Some of you may be familiar with me being on the BET series of American Gangster Trap Queens. Currently, I've just entered into the world of being an author. I've always, had business sense and done business things, like on the side. But right now I'm just full-fledged diving into different business ventures, working with women coming home from prison, re-entering back into prison, and trying to help young girls prevent them from going into prison. So it's very colorful. Like you say, it's a lot of things going on. And I'm excited to be doing it. Everything is a learning process. I'm learning new things, and I'm excited about that. I just can't be any more grateful and thankful of all of the opportunities that have come my way, and I'm just willing to share it. I'm a vessel for God, and this is how I am to be used, and I'm ready to do that. I'm here. Yeah.
I love it. Now, I was familiar with your story before we linked up because I had saw the episode. Well, I listened to the episode of The Breakfast Club where you were with the other women. So I was like, oh, wait, I know her. And I immediately recognized your story, because of the whole student loan thing. So I was like, wow, and all you women, first of all, so intelligent, I was like, wow, these are some smart women, regardless of what people may think about, the situations you guys were in. I was like, you guys are smart as hell. No matter what.
We all have this sense. All of us do. Everything that you want to do, it's in you to do. It's just about how you go about doing it. And it's about the patience that you have. It's about the knowledge that you have and the other things that are surrounding you. Sometimes we can be, and I appreciate and I thank you for saying that. And one of the things I do acknowledge and I'm accountable for, and I put, did you disappear? Okay, there we are. Is that, I made decisions that were stupider than me. I was so much more intelligent, and I had so much more knowledge in the decisions that I decided to make. And I don't suggest, and I don't wish upon, and I don't encourage anyone to make decisions due to any pressures, or you feel like, oh God, this is the only way because I got to do this fast. When we're trying to do something fast, and we're not trying to think of a strategic plan, just understand the difference. The difference of fast is trouble. Strategic planning and patience means a long-term journey of greatness. You know, you're going to hit those roadblocks. You're going to go over those speed bumps. You're going to bump your head, crash and burn. But the whole point is that you still will get up. You know, you're never going to stay down. You're never going to stay down. No one who tries to get up and stay standing up falls and doesn't get up. Nobody does. You know, we have that ability. So I just really, really, really want to make sure that we encourage that we give ourselves, know that you have the light already. You know, the light's already in you. You gotta, you're the flashlight. So when it gets dark around you, when things are discouraging, when things are just, wow, you feel like you have no control, just remember that you do have it in there. You just have to give yourself some time. Give yourself some time. It's gonna happen.
Right. I think that's so special about all you ladies that was on that panel is because you took your story and you're giving it back, because just like I said, you guys are very intelligent. So like you're giving it back to young girls, like you said, just to show them that life's full of challenges and how you can make the right choices, how you can take that intelligence and be a CEO, you know, or have a nonprofit or just give back in whatever way. So that's one thing I really commend about each and every one of you, how like you took those stories, those experiences, and you didn't just hold on to it. You're giving it back, you know, being very transparent. I know it's not easy because some people you know, are judgmental. So I can only imagine what you guys have had to deal with.
Oh my goodness. You just don't even know. Like I was never a person who wanted to talk. This is not like I said, oh, I want to go and tell the world about this bad thing that I did. That was not, you know, there was no auditioning to come and tell your story. There was none of that going on. I was at a place in my life when the show came to me where I was like, hey, you know, I give up on anything other than working a 9 to 5. And that was so not me, because I've always been doing something, trying something, you know. And I just really, after I went to federal prison and I came home, it was just like, nope, just a 9 to 5, just want to disappear, hide, forget about any dreams that I ever had, just do this, you know. But when you're a creative person, or when you're a person who's busy in your mind and you know, when you want to do so much more, you just really can't sit still. So doing that to myself was, oh my gosh, it was crippling me. You know, it was really crippling me, but I really had set this in my mind that there was nothing else, that I didn't want to pursue anything else. Right. Yeah. And when the opportunity came to me, like prior to that, I was thinking, you know, I was at this job for a couple of years and I was like, well, God, you know, if this is it, if this is all I'm supposed to do, then, you know, I accept that. Let it be this. But if there's something else I could be doing, you know, if there's just something else, please, you know, make it happen, you know. And I just prayed on that. And not too long after that, I swear to you that I got a phone call asking what you know, someone, of course, one of the producers of the show who knows my family quite well. And this opportunity came up and they thought that I would be a great candidate to tell this story. And she was like, you know, I know you don't want to, you don't want the world to know this, but I was thinking, oh, wow, God, I was not talking about this. I was talking more about maybe Unsung or something, you know, something better. But, you know, this is my story and this is who I am. And that is a part of me and who I am today. So I'm very, very appreciative that I received the call. I wasn't ready for it. I wasn't prepared. So I still, if you look at my interviews from then and now, and even being on the show, I was very tight. Like I wasn't, this is not, no, I don't want to talk about this. Even there, I remember them asking me something. I was like, I'm not saying that, you know, I wasn't prepared and I wasn't healed. I wasn't working on being healed. I wasn't working on being okay. So I wasn't comfortable. Now with people like you, your podcast and all the others that I've done, magazine interviews, going to the Breakfast Club, having a great support system like the ladies that I sat with, all of the other American Gangster trap queens, and just getting into communities of women just like myself, it has really helped me to be more confident and comfortable. I don't read all of the comments. I had read some before.
Mm-hmm.
I've read some before. People are brutal. You know, people are brutal, but you know what? God is bigger. You know,
Oh,
God
yeah.
is bigger. And I'm okay with the comments because, hey, if I'm not the person that I want, if I thought about years ago when I was a younger person and ignorant minded and things like that, I would say the same comments. And sometimes I might in my head think judge some other things that are happening, but I wouldn't say that, to a person, and I wouldn't, type that to a person because again, you never know where you're going to end up. If your life is still going, anything can happen. No one wakes up or goes to school in kindergarten and says, "Oh, I want to one day be a criminal and go to jail." And nobody wakes up and says that. Nobody. Right. We're just human, and there's things that happen. This is life. Life happens.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what I said. That's why I respect. Right.
Yeah.
And that's what I said. That's why I respect the fact that you guys put your story out there, because I'm sure it wasn't easy. And some people really are judgmental. And I know one of your interviews I watched, I can't remember which one, but I know you referred to like it's life. People go through things in life like you really honestly never know what path you're going to end up on. And sometimes it really just takes all the time, everything in our lives is just it's one decision.
Right.
We're one decision away from anything.
Right.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. It's like wanting to win $1 million, but never getting a scratch ticket. Right.
Right. But that's the thing that's the blessing about taking your story, because like you said, at first you weren't comfortable, but you're still helping people. So, giving a testimony is not easy. We've all been in church sometimes and someone gets up there and they say something, you're like, wow, like you put yourself in that position, like, okay, would I be able to say that? Even some personal things I've been through. I remember one time somebody asked me to be on their podcast about something. I was like saying to myself, why are you asking me? Because I was like, I don't really want to talk about this all the time, because I was like, I'm not the poster child for some of this stuff. Like, I really was like taking it in the wrong way, because I was like, I don't really want to talk about this.
No, I know exactly how you feel. I really do. And it's so rewarding though. It's rewarding that, first of all, I'm appreciative that anyone even wants to hear my story, that they want to talk to me, that they think that I am a person that they can hear their story from, or that it may inspire you, or that it may resonate something with you. I'm always in shock. I'm always like, wow, me, why me? I don't think anything is, compare me to this or compare me to that. Why would it be me? It's like, don't compare you to this or that. You don't do that. You just stand in the place that you are planted and you grow from there. you know? And if you can help, so if you can pour some water on another person and help them grow, then that's what you do. That's how you get through life, and that's how you are rewarded. So for me, it's about that, you know? I'm not perfect, and I'm not all the way there. I'm not all the way healed. I'm not all the way excited, and I'm not the big boss lady. I don't, that's not how I do my walk these days. I don't do that. It more so makes me feel good if there's someone else that says that they heard me speak, they listened to my story, and it helped them to make a decision. That is more to me than any amount of money, and it lasts much longer, It lasts much longer. So I'm just so appreciative and just grateful. And again, I'm still like, wow, I'm in shock and still in disbelief that it even helps anyone. I really am. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I think a lot of times we underestimate our experiences. We don't realize how big certain things we've been through are, like how it can really make a difference. Now, for some people who aren't familiar, who may not watch the episode and not heard the Breakfast Club, can you give like a condensed version of what happened? Only because I feel like just in a lot of your stories, and I can't remember the other female's name. She was another smart one. How obviously there's a disparity too when African American women are in front of a judge. That's one thing that really annoyed me with a lot of y'all stories. I was like, like this is racist, like how you guys were sentenced or just how you were addressed. Like it just really bothered me because a lot of us, we know victimless crimes are white collar crimes, and we'll see like other people, other skin tones going to jail, and it seems different. And like I could be reaching, but that's how I felt when I was watching a lot of the shows, the episodes. That's how I took it. Like, okay, they're getting treated in a different way. That's just how I interpret it. I could be wrong. So can you like just explain your experience, with what happened in incarceration, and if there definitely were some disparities as an African American woman?
Absolutely. So in my story, for those of you who aren't familiar with it, I was a financial aid advisor. And in my position, financial aid advisor, and also like I did Perkins Loan Coordinator, I was in charge of college student accounts. And what I did was funds there were two different cases that I had, and they were 10 years apart. So the first case that I had was in a position where I was a student accounts manager. So I was in charge of receiving the checks from the banks to do refinancing for student loan accounts, right? And so when I would receive those checks after a while, I knew the system, the way things worked. I started thinking of how I could use those for my own personal use. I abused the power of my position, and I started taking those checks, large and small checks after a while. And I started depositing those checks into my own personal account. So yeah, I was smart in a sense, but that was stupid, right? And then I was sentenced to, so it was my first case was about $250,000. I was sentenced to 6 months in state prison, and then 3 years of probation. After that, 10 years later, I get into another situation, a similar situation. I was now a financial aid advisor at school, at a trade school. And what I did was, again, I thought that this would be a position where, financial aid, you're not supposed to have any checks coming in. But the way this business ran, they did things, out of context. So, checks came. My situation in life never changed. My thought had changed because I was not in that world. Temptation was still there. And disparity was still there, pain was still there, distress was still there. And so I did the same routine again in a different aspect, but I did again involve taking checks that did not belong to me, depositing them, and using those funds. So I abused the position that I had. Now, the first, I didn't get the same treatment as the other young ladies that you may see. I didn't experience, being a Black woman, being a woman of color, or, being of the Black and brown community and getting a overly crazy sentence. That was not my journey. But what my journey was, what I did experience was the disrespect and the humiliation that the court system will give you when you're a person who commits a crime as such. And you are of the Black and brown community. It's frowned upon. Well, this is my opinion and my take on it. When you're of the Black and brown community and you commit a crime that is supposed to be a white collar crime because only they are, only certain other people are privy to this information or have knowledge or are smart enough to do X, Y, or Z. We see this on Wall Street all the time. We see this in higher corporations all the time. We see this in our presidencies. We see this everywhere. But if you're of the Black and brown community and you dare to do that, oh, no. You will be disrespected. You will be humiliated, and you will be beat down your dignity to the lowest form that it could be. I had the prosecutor tell me that I ruined it for everyone else. Ruined it for everyone. I was on a good path and I just ruined it. And I was thinking, like, you don't even know, my life was already been ruined. My life was ruined already. I just happened to have a job that, I had an office and all those things. So it looked great. That's a good looking job. But, what I was being paid was not like a big, I didn't have a large salary. I was struggling. I was struggling. And, there's no excuses for what I did. I don't want to use any of those things to say, well, the reason why I did this was, no, I can't blame that. I made a decision to do something based off of what I was going through. I could have made a different choice. There were better options, and it would have maybe taken a little longer bit of time. I could have, there's a lot of things that I could have did before. In my own head, I thought I made up this foolproof idea to steal money from my employer, and I do regret making that decision more than one time, and then over span of time, and I paid for that decision.
Right.
I've gone to prison, which puts a black mark against me. I'm now a convicted felon. So there goes trying to get these great jobs, right? Then now I'm federal prison. You can forget it. You can forget it. So I have to deal with those consequences, and I'm doing that today. And today is different for me because I don't feel that it's just about me. I feel it's just about 100 other me's that don't understand that because they're too busy dying in the darkness that they're in, you know, and that's what matters to me. So I don't, I no longer really feel like, oh, that hurts my feelings or pierces my heart that someone has said something so derogatory against me or whatever, because there is no one on this earth that is free of fault. And I, you know, I can only accept and be accountable for mine. And I am, you know, and I am. So I don't, you know, I'm okay with that today.
The Entrepods team is excited to announce the new Bootstrap Bootcamp. This self-paced course is loaded with worksheets and innovative industry advice to make your business become more profitable in the next 30 days. This course is specifically designed for solopreneurs or those that work in small teams. We focus on the whys and hows of entrepreneurship to help you make time for the important things in life and take it to the next level. Take back your confidence and become the business owner you've always wanted to be. If you get stuck, our course is equipped with industry experts in business management, podcasting, social media, customer relations, and more. We're here to give you powerful strategies that have been refined for small business owners like yourself. Sign up today at entrepods.com/bootstrap-bootcamp.
I don't, you know, I'm okay with that today. You know, I'm okay. It might pinch sometimes, but I get over it, you know. But it's like, hey, at least I'm here to say what I did. At least I didn't, you know, I didn't run from it when I was faced with it. I stood on it. I admitted my fault. I admitted my guilt, and I wanted to, you know, pay for it, and I did that. You know, but we have to think of there's lots of us lots of brown and lots of the black and brown community that are in prison unlawfully. We're dying out here. You know, they're killing us out here before we are even committed of a crime. You know, we're already guilty before we even go to court. Right. You know, there's vigilantes out here ready to just do away with us, you know, and that's what we need to fight for. We need to fight for our freedom. We need to fight for our respect. And you know, and that's what I'm here to do today.
Right. Yeah. And see, that's why when I first heard you guys on the Breakfast Club, I didn't judge any of you because I'm like, there's so many of us in jail for things that we didn't do. So I'm like, it literally could be any of us, you know, and I know it's a scary thought, but I'm like, I can't judge them, period, because I could get pulled over or whatever and get thrown in jail. Like, you really don't know. And I hate to say that, especially as a mother of a Black male. I'm like, it's too many of us behind bars anyway. So I'm like, I can't judge anybody because so many people in there didn't do anything. And they're in prison experiencing the same thing. So with everything that you went through, though, how was your process of self-forgiveness? Because like we said, people make mistakes. You know, there's no person on this earth that's perfect that didn't, you know, do anything that they may have looked at and say, hey, you know, if I had to do it over, I would not have done this. I would not have made this decision. How was your journey with having that self-forgiveness to just let it go, you know, so that you're not walking around judging yourself? Like, how was that process for you?
Process, you know, it's funny that you asked that. I mean, I'm stronger in the process and I'm stronger in the journey, and you know, I'm still forgiving myself. I'm still doing this every day because there are days that I'm like, I really did mess this up for myself. You know, I talk to myself about that daily. It's a hard road to forgive yourself. Yeah, it really is. You know, I could say it, but am I really truly walking in it and, you know, experiencing it? No, I always feel like I have this thing over my head, you know, and I'm not always able to forgive myself. You know, it didn't affect me. You know, the guilt comes, I'm a parent. Yeah. So I went to prison, but when I was in prison, that made my kids be in prison. They didn't have their mother. There's no amount of money that can get you back the time that you've missed. So there was a period of time that I missed for my children, for my family. I will never be able to forgive myself for that. I don't think that I will ever be able to forgive myself for that. You know, that affected the way that I lived before going to prison. All of those things affected my children. And I just, you know, I'm a mom. I'm always going to feel like, you know, it's a feeling you get when you're a mom, you're a parent, and you go to the store and it's like, oh, I want to buy these sneakers for myself. And like, nope, look at this for my son. You know, it's like we have that, you know, we have that guilt feeling, even if we do something for ourselves that, you know, I could have used that for my baby. You know, that's how we think. So, you know, I will forever be, you know, be bothered by the decisions that I made because how it affected my family in the long run. Yeah. I'm working on it, you know, but it's that mommy guilt thing for me. Yeah.
Yeah. I think all mothers just experience guilt in general, you know.
Yeah.
I completely get it. Trust me, I get it. I was separated from my kids at one point because of the custody situation. And it's like, I deal with that and it's been years, but it's still is something like I trust me, like I said, I get it. You know, like it's a daily process. You know, and some days good, you know, some days aren't, you know, but I think it's because we are harder on ourselves as a whole. And I think especially as Black women, we hold that, you know, invisible cape where we have to be perfect
for everything and be there for everyone. And, you know, it's like, we really have to learn how to be there for ourselves, and that will make us better being there for others. You know, so I'm still working on that.
Yeah.
Now I have grandkids, so it's even worse.
Yeah. Right.
You know. Yeah. But I'm living in it. I'm living in it. I'm working on it every day still. You know, and I think that, you know, people need to know. You know, there's no day when you're like, I've done it. I'm finished. Everything's perfect. It never happens. That never happens. You're going to continue to grow. You're going to continue to learn some things that you did not know or that you didn't want to know. And you just it's every day until the day that it's your time to go. You're going to still be learning something new.
Right,
So,
right.
Yeah. There we go. I think
okay,
we're still there. Okay.
Tell me about your nonprofit, because I know that's part of your mission to give back, you know, so that you can,
right.
And I hope that some of it is self-therapeutic for you, that it offers some help for you. So tell me about your nonprofit.
So I'm at the very ground level of my nonprofit, but, you know, I have it. It's called A Year in a Day Foundation. And this nonprofit is multifaceted, but where I'm starting at the ground level is transitional programs for those entering back into society and prevention of those women and children going into that society. So we're starting off there. I'm learning it. I'm making my allies. I'm, you know, making my connections and, you know, volunteering everywhere so that I can make sure that I'm putting together the perfect programs and projects for everyone, getting the resources connected for housing, jobs, mental health, financial foundations. This is what, you know, these are all the tools that are needed when you're re-entering back into society. And they're also the tools that you need to make it in society. You know, a lot's going on these days. We're in COVID, we're in different, we're in we're in this, where all these different variants are going on. People have been out of work. Our mental health is at a strain, right? So imagine having that on your back, coming home from prison. What are you going to do? You know, what are you going to do? It's a lot of hard work. And like I said, what strengthened me is having a community of people that were like me, you know, to support me just by understanding what I've been going through.
Yes.
You know, so this is what we need. We need a community of support. And that's what I want A Year in a Day Foundation to be, a community of support. And we want to provide the resources that are needed and that are going to help someone to maintain free in the world and to be able to excel in their lives, you know, beyond what they thought that they could do. And there it is. And this is like my baby. So I'm really, you know, and I'm an overthinker. So I'm taking a long time getting this together, because I want it to be absolutely right. And I want it to be a staple in the community.
Yes, yeah. That's awesome. So tell me about the book. Of course, we refer to the book a lot. Tell me about the book. How was it writing it? And how long has it been, you know, baking in your mind to put everything on paper? Because right now, books are the new business card. You know, everyone has life experiences. And the books are the best way to just get your story out there.
I'm telling you that this is where the healing and the crying and the, oh my goodness, and, you know, remembering things that I've shut out, you know, unconsciously and consciously, you know, it's like, well, at first, because I'll tell you, it's been over a year of a progress, probably, but in my head, like I've always been a writer. When I was in school, I have notebooks of things, right? And I needed help doing this one. Right. I needed help doing this one. And I got great people to make sure that my story is being felt. So I first did it. There was a first version that I was like, oh, this is all fluffy. It still sounds like the girl who's not trying to talk, not trying to give it up. I'm not trying to tell you nothing. Right. Right. And I'm like, you know what? That's a disservice to myself. And why am I going to do a book if I'm still, you know, it doesn't show or feel like I've grown at all, that I'm doing more work on myself at all. And so I went back to the drawing board on it. And now it's like, okay, I'm making myself cry now reading this. I'm making myself remember, dig up some things that I don't want to share, but it's not, my story isn't for me. I already know it. You know, my story is for it to touch someone else. So I had to go back and revisit being tight, being like, no. I had to just give it up. And, you know, I'm just being real transparent. I'm being honest. And, you know, I've been crying through this book. You know, I had to go back. I really had to go back. And a lot of forgiveness for myself and you know, and others had to take place.
Right.
And I'm had to take place.
Right.
And I'm still not 100% there, but this has helped me. Honestly, it's helped me more than therapy has helped me, because, you know, I probably wasn't telling the therapist everything either.
Yeah.
You know, but in this book, I'm really being transparent, and I'm proud of myself for being able to get through it that way. And I really wasn't going to release the other version. It was like, I don't want to do that. Like, I could just talk about that kind of stuff. But, you know, I need people to understand how human and how real of a person I am. I want the demographic that needs to hear it. I want them to feel me, so that they can resonate with that. And I'm totally happy on what's going to come out. I can't complain about it. And there'll be follow up to that as well. You know, I'm going in sections. I'm going in sections. So, you know, part 1's going to be out. I have a release date. I pushed it back. It was going to be Labor Day weekend, but I pushed it back to November 2nd. All the pre-orders will go out before then, so people can still pre-order and they'll get it before November 2nd, but it'll be available to everyone November 2nd.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You'll get to know the little Ayanna and the teenage Ayanna, the early adulthood Ayanna, the mom, the bad girl.
Well, I know, like you mentioned, like the little Ayanna, teenage Ayanna. So on the podcast, the whole platform really does talk about self-love and how self-love really fuels us, and especially starting off as being young.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, for a lot of young women, you have to go through stuff, unfortunately, before you really get it. But I know, like you said, how you want to teach other women and girls that life is full of challenges, and making the right choices will help us overcome them. From your experiences, what would you say to a young woman, you know, who may still be at that early infancy stage, you know, like a young kid or a teenager who may be awkward or unsure of themselves? What would you tell them, like just from your experiences, on how, if they can apply self-love or how to look at themselves differently and value themselves more in order to maybe avoid certain things that, you know, you and I and other women have gone through? What advice would you give them?
I would let them know to learn how to focus on life without the noise. And when I say life without the noise, I mean the things that are going on around you. Learn to take it in, but learn how to hear you and not the noise outside of you. Because you only know what you need. You only know what you want. You only know what you can and can't do. You know, no one else knows that unless it comes out of your mouth. So as a young child, you know, I went through a lot of traumatic experiences as a child. You'll read this in my book, but, you know, one of the things was molestation. I was a silent, you know, that made me quiet. It made me not want to, you know, I didn't feel I was being heard, right? So I stopped. I didn't look for help, you know. This is where a lot of danger, that's a clear danger sign for a young lady. If you feel that you have no one to talk to, if there's something that's happening that you don't think you could talk to about someone, then that lets you know you're in danger, right? If you feel embarrassed by something, that lets you know you're in danger. If you feel humiliated by something, that lets you know that you're in danger. When you feel less than, that lets you know that you're in danger. You know, when you feel like hurting yourself, that lets you know you're in danger. And it's okay. We have to know, in our Black and brown communities, it's not okay to get help. You need to know that those are signs that you have to get help. You know, and we should be teaching our kids, you have to get help. Well, you know, if you feel like, you know, the first thing that you have to do in order for someone to know, you know, it would be great if we could recognize when someone does need help. But look, just like people, you know, everything is what it looks like to people, right? So you'll see me sitting on the Breakfast Club, and then all the comments is, well, you don't look like you've been in prison. It's like, well, what does prison people look like?
Right.
What do good people look like? What do bad people look like? Because we can do TV shows and make someone look evil, but what does it really look like? It looks like me and you. It looks like me and you. So we can't always identify when someone is hurting inside. We can't always identify. We can't identify when something's wrong all the time. So if you're not going to speak, if you can't speak about it, then someone's not going to be able to help you or get you the help that you need. It may not be the person that can help you, but it can be a person to lead you to that help. And it could be a person that ends up helping you to save your own life. Right. You know, so one of the things is like, get rid of fear. If you're afraid of something, you need to talk to someone about it. You know, it's all these things that we try to take on about being strong and all this. You know, you're not as strong as you think all the time. And it's okay not to be strong all the time. It's okay. You don't have to follow these old school rules or these new school rules. You don't have to follow that. What you have to follow is what's going on with you. And you got to be so clear about it. You really do. And it takes, especially as a young adult, that's all confusing. I don't know. I don't know what I feel like. I don't know what that means. You know, we don't. So, you know, I feel as being an older adult, it's my job to make sure that I'm reaching back to those that are coming up behind me, because I've already been there. You don't have to take my advice or listen to me, but you can at least know that there's somebody who may know what you're talking about, or maybe I've said something that's what's happening to me right now. Because nothing is new. Nothing is new. Everything is recycled. There's nothing new that's happening that no one in all these decades have not experienced. We've all, every decade, we get it. So in the kids born in 2000, someone from the 70s has been through the same thing. You know, we have to teach each other. I learn new things from people younger than me every day. I make it a habit to do that because that's what keeps us going, you know? So it's, you know, I'm enjoying the moment. I'm enjoying it. And this is what I'd like to do for the rest of my life. And I feel like this is what my life means. And I'm glad that I'm not happy that I committed a crime, but I'm glad that I've had an experience that I'm able to help someone else. And that's more to me than anything. Yeah.
Awesome. So lastly, with everything that you've gone through, what would you say have been some of the most valuable lessons that you've learned? I mean, obviously you have used your life as a vessel to help other people, which is always a great thing, turning pain into purpose, turning that experiences, you know, to mean something, like you said, to grab the next person behind you to help them. So what would you say have been some of the most greatest valuable lessons that you learned? I know we're all still in the experience of learning, like I call it the state of ING, like every day we're learning, growing, evolve, you know, but what, from everything you've been through though, what would you say have been some of the most valuable lessons you've learned to help others?
One of the most valuable lessons that I've learned is patience. I feel it's something that I've always had, but I don't think there's something that I tapped into using when I needed to use it. And it's like, and why I say that is because, you know, we're in a time right now, and I think we've always been in a time where everyone wants this instant gratification, right? We want it to happen now. We want to get over it now. We want to feel it now. Because we have no patience. There's no patience there. When you learn patience, you're able to take you take the hits from every emotion and still sit there and know that I'm sitting here at point A, but I'm already at point Z. You know, I'm already there, and I'm just taking my time getting there because there's all these other things that come in the way. I can't now, oh gosh, I got to step D and everything went crazy and I'm off this. You'll never make it to the end. You'll never make it there. How do you know? If you're looking for it to happen today and they tell you 14 days and you're just going to say, well, forget it because it's not happening today, I don't want it. No, you have to have patience with yourself because you're not going to understand things right away. You might read something right now. Do you understand? Yeah, you're already signing. But listen, I didn't understand that. I didn't get what I signed until 10 days later, right?
Right.
You know, I read this. I didn't get it until last month. You know what I mean? You don't always have a clear understanding of things right away. So it's going to take time. And it's okay for something to take time. It's okay. Like, it's not the same things are still going to be there. You know, we're always in a rush to hurry up and go get. That was my problem. I needed it. I felt like I needed it now. But I could have waited. the greater things come later, as you know, they say. Now all those things your grandmother was saying and your mother was saying, it's like your grandmother was saying and your mother was saying, it's like now it's starting to make sense. You know, we're rushing to get nowhere. And then when we're rushing to get somewhere, we're missing all these great things and we're missing all of these lessons that we just try to skip over. And then you got to double back to get it. Now that's more time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the most valuable things that I learned. And I try really hard to make sure not only just patience with myself, but patience with others. You have to have an understanding that everyone doesn't understand. Right. And it's okay. You know, it's okay. Like, that's fine. If you want someone to understand, you have to take time with them as well. If you want someone to see your vision, you have to take time for your vision to be seen as well. You can't just, well, they don't get it. Okay, they didn't get it today. You know, right. There's other days. There's other days that someone will get it, and it takes time. It's okay to take time. Right. You know, and that's the biggest and most valuable lesson that I've learned. Forgiveness would be one, but I don't feel that I've accomplished. I don't feel that I've accomplished it, but I am on the journey to it.
Yes.
And the day that I'm able to really feel that weight is lifted off of me of forgiving myself, I'll be so happy about it. And I mean, I'm happy now. This is the happiest I've ever been about myself in my whole entire life.
Good.
And I say that I wanted to be very clear. The happiest I've been about myself. It has nothing to do with anyone else. It has to do with where I am with myself. You know, and that's what we need to do. You know, don't give your power away to the world. Get your power for you. Your power is for you. It's in you. You give it away and then you have none.
Right.
And you'll be a miserable person. This is how we become miserable from young ages on out. We don't understand that. We don't know what we're doing, but we've already given ourselves away. Right. And you got to learn how to roll it back and, hey, I am so happy with myself. I was listening to all these other people and I was listening to what they have and they don't have it. And I compared myself, or I just wanted this, or I thought I wanted that, or I thought I wanted this, but I never really appreciated and respected who I was and what I was about. Because I wasn't taking time to even know me. You know, I was trying to be everything else. And that's why I say, you got to learn to live through noise. You know, I learned to live through noise today. You know, when I was younger, I felt like the only thing I learned to do was normalize dysfunction and live through dysfunction. And not to say that everything is not, you know, functional now, you know, but it is a learning process and everything is for the better. And I'm truly happy as a person, as who I am as a person today. And anyone that comes into my life, friends, family, or anyone, I want them to encounter the same thing for themselves.
Right.
And I hope that I could just be encouraging to do that. I hope I could be a testimony to do that. And I really couldn't ask for anything else. I'm really so happy today. I really am.
That's good. I'm happy to hear that. 'Cause like I said, I think you have a story, and I really do hope you get to a point where, you know, you feel the weight is a little lighter, you know, 'cause like that we're all human, and there's no I feel walking this earth who hasn't done something that they, you know, would have done differently, you know, had they known better. And I think that's really what the journey of life is. A lot of times things that we've done is because we simply didn't know any better. Or we didn't value ourselves like maybe we should have. We didn't know what self-love even means, you know, to even know how to do things differently, you know. So like I said, I really appreciate you just being so transparent and just putting yourself out there, because like I said, I can only imagine it, and I know it's not easy. So I personally commend you. Like I said, when I got the opportunity to talk to you, I instantly remembered all you ladies from the Breakfast Club, and my instant thought when I heard the story, I was like, wow, these are some smart ass women.
Oh my God, I'm so in awe by the other ladies too. They're so, you know, the community of them, all the women that I've encountered there, they are so intelligent. They are so supportive. And just, you know, it's just nice to know that after all that you've been through, you can still be a light. You can still shine. You could still be everything and still give. You know, so much is taken away from you. Time is taken away from you, but you still have time that you want to give. And there's no dollar amounts on that. None at all. None at all. Yeah.
Right. It's definitely valuable just to have that purpose and to be used as a vessel. It's no coincidence. So I want to thank you again for just being such a gracious guest. And before we leave to everyone, all your information, how they can reach out to you, how they can follow you on social media, and also remind them again when your book is coming out in November and how they can purchase it, and also how they can donate to your nonprofit. I know you said you're still building it, but all your information.
Oh, thank you. So I want to thank you for having me. I know it was a few minutes late. I'm sorry.
Totally fine.
Make sure. And I really appreciate you reaching out and having me share your platform. I always love doing these things, and it's always great when you have a great host to talk to. So I really appreciate that, because you helped me to continue to go on. So I want you to know that. My book, A Year and a Day, Memoirs of a Regular Girl, will be available to everyone on November 2nd. It will, you can purchase it directly from my website. I'm independently publishing this for now. So you can go to AyannaBean.com, and that's AYANABEAN.com. That's my website. You can follow me there for all updates, purchase the book, and just see, all the interviews and things like that I have. The book itself has its own website. So the book has ayearandadaybook.com. You can also go there. You can pre-order from there right now. You'll be able to purchase from there as well when November 2nd comes. Everyone that has pre-ordered up until this part, which has been overwhelming, I'm like, wow, they will be receiving a special edition of the book before November 2nd. Those will start shipping out October 1st. So I'm excited about that. You still have time to get in there so you can get a special package. Follow me on Instagram. That's at miss.Ayana Bean. So that's ms.YANABEAN. And it's the same across all of my media platforms. So my Facebook, my Twitter, it's all there. It's all there. And, sometimes I'm in my DMs too. So if you want to reach out to me through there, or, my email is available there just as well. But yeah, reach out to me. I love to hear from everyone, your feedback. And I'm definitely going to make sure that my girl has a couple of copies and do some giveaways. Maybe I'll come back and we can do that. And I'll sign some books for you. But I really appreciate everyone who's been following my story. I appreciate everyone that's interested, that contributes to it. And I really, honestly, truly appreciate you too, my dear, for having me. Like I said, it teaches me how to be better at what I'm trying to do. So I thank you.
Guys, please go ahead and follow her on social media. She's very accessible. So if you guys ever have any questions you'd like to ask her, just go ahead and DM her on IG. But she's an amazing woman. And everyone that tunes in, please send her some love and light, because I know it's not easy sharing your story on a regular basis, but she has such an amazing story. And so do the other women on American Gangster, BET's American Gangster Trap Queens. But definitely go ahead and follow and support her. Go ahead to her website. That's MissAyanaBean.com, and go ahead and find out more information on how you guys can purchase her book, which is going to be premiering in November. But go ahead and please support her. And I hope you guys picked up some gems and tools with this story, just how loving yourself really truly makes a difference. And no matter what you've been through, just go ahead and you can turn pain into purpose. You never know. A story that may be painful, something that you've been through, can also inspire the next person. You never know. So just go ahead. Make sure you guys go love yourself. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Q Chat podcast. And make sure you go love yourself. Thank you.